The morning show, made by God.
For such a time as this.
Johnny Stone in the morning on Star 99.1.
And Star991FM.com.
So the band Coldplay has had a lot of considerable mainstream success.
Yes,
right?
they have.
A lot. And their music has always been okay to me. Never really crazy about it. It was fine. But there's a song that they played that I added it to our playlist for a little while.
Right.
And was hoping that you would listen to it and understand what the song meant, but I think a lot of people had difficulty, so I took it off. But I did play it again this morning as we started the show, and then a friend of mine called in, and keep in mind, station manager Scott Taylor, I told him the reason I was playing the song, and he said, you should talk about that on the air, and I said, nah, I don't think I'm going to. But then this morning, a friend of the radio station, Warren, calls in, and he asked the question, and so the explanation follows.
How'd you land on Coldplay?
Well, let me tell you, I'm not really a fan of Coldplay, but I heard this song on another station because I listen to see what other radio stations are doing. It sounded like my story, and I'll tell you more about that in a minute. So I did some research on Coldplay. Come to find out that Focus on the Family approves all their music. The band, although they don't admit to being Christian, they display a lot of Christian truths. For instance, they give 10% of their earnings to charity. They didn't specify which charity, but 10% to me is a biblical figure.
Yeah.
But now to the song. Here's what the song means to me. I used to be in mainstream radio.
Right.
I was number one in Atlanta, Georgia, number one in San Diego, California, number one show in Dallas, Texas, number one show in Minneapolis, St. Paul, as I traveled across the country. I thought I used to rule the world. I used to go against my competitors on the radio dial. I would do all kinds of things on the air and off the air to make them fail. Mm-hmm. I used to roll the dice, feel the fear in my enemy's eyes. Mm-hmm. And then I would be the king. The old king is dead, long live the king. That would be me. I thought it was all about me. Mm-hmm. I thought I was the ruler. Every market I went to, it was for me to dominate and to win at all costs. Gain the world, lost my soul.
Wow.
As you can see, there are a lot of lies told to you in those days.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of lies that you believe, and the song kind of has those lyrics in there, too. It reached a certain point where my world collapsed.
Yeah.
And I lost my wife. I lost my children. I lost the fortune I had built up. But it kind of turned my life around.
Yeah.
To the point where I could hear Jerusalem bells are ringing. I could hear God saying to me, come back to me. Be my mirror, be my sword, be my shield, be my missionary in a foreign land, which for me at that point would have been Christian radio. And I'm just quoting some of the lyrics here from the song.
Yeah.
And it goes on to say, for some reason I can't explain, once there was never an honest word, that was when I ruled the world. And I can't believe, when I look back on my life, Warren, and all the sins I've done and all the wrongs I've done to people, but still, St. Peter's going to call my name.
Wow.
And that's the whole thing about forgiveness, and that's the whole thing about redemption. And I heard the song, and it just stuck with me, and I thought, should I play it, should I not play it? And so I put it into a light rotation on the station, hoping that there are other people out there who will live in that life that I was living, that maybe they're at that low point in their life right now, and they can realize that it can turn around.
Have you ever shared aspects of that on the air?
No, I've never talked about that on the air.
Yeah.
That is until now. When you listen to the song, you'll hear my story.
Absolutely, Johnny. I've always been drawn to Coldplay's, what I thought my ear was detecting undertones of evangelical messages. And then Rolling Stone actually featured an article with Chris Martin. And so I picked it up and I read it because I thought I wanted to confirm everything. And I think that he has had some Christian experience in his life, but I absolutely put the article down. A little troubled and concerned about him and his faith, and in particular his faith within his marriage.
Yeah, well, you see, now that's stuff that we don't know. We can only speculate on that.
Yeah, exactly.
Another line from the song. Now in the morning I sweep alone, sweep the streets I used to own. I'm doing my best to clean up radio in America for you and for your family, because your family, they matter.
Yeah, I got it. No, that's powerful. And Johnny, I'd only encourage you to share whatever aspects of that story that you feel comfortable with, because I think it's very powerful and one that every one of us could relate to.
outside.